welcome to the Onside Kick. Ricky Widmer here along with Mark Weber.
How's it going, guys?
And are we running on 4 weeks now that Dave hasn't been here?
It's been a long time.
4 weeks. I feel like we're back in the hockey season rolls around and Dave says, nope, calling it in.
He's like, I'm good. You guys got this one.
I'm good. I don't like hockey season, so you guys can handle it. But we're not talking much hockey. It's the beginning of the season.
There's not too much to talk about.
We're going to let things ride out for the Blackhawks.
Yep, a little bit of goalie fights. Besides that,
that
nothing
Ray
much.
Emery fight was amazing. Like, if you have not seen the Ray Emery, and I don't know his first name, but it's Holtby on the Capitals. If you haven't seen that fight, go to the Onside Kick Facebook page and check it out. Funniest shit I've seen in forever.
There's nothing better in all of sports than a goalie fight.
The Flyers were losing 7-0, and Simmons and I can't remember which Capitals player that was get into a fight, and Emery just goes fuck it and books it across the ice.
He was pissed.
Hope he didn't want to fight, but then he's like, whatever, I'll just get punched in the face a million times.
And that's the thing about hockey too. I feel like in most fights, there's one guy who really wins and one guy who really loses.
There's a giver and a taker.
Oh, somebody's taken, and it wasn't Emery.
Emery, they say that Emery had a little bit of boxing in his background. I could believe that. I could believe that there was
sure
some
looks
boxing
like it
in his background. But on today's podcast, we got some football. We're going to talk Monday night matchup between the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. We're going to talk a little bit about the World Series ending, Boston World Champions. We're also going to dive into one thing that we would like both of our White Sox and Cubs to do now that the offseason has started. We're going to talk about the beginning of the basketball season for the Chicago Bulls and round everything up with our NFL. Is it week 10? Week 10 we're in, right? Week 10?
That sounds good to me.
Week 10 picks. Wow, we are chugging through this season. But Mark, Monday night game, Bears-Packers. Luke McCown's your starter. How you feeling?
You know, it's unfortunate.
Josh McCown's your starter.
Yeah.
How you feeling? There's so many McCowns out there.
There's really too many.
There's Cade McNown, there's Josh McCown, there's Luke McCown.
So here's my thing. All right, this is kind of the annual...
Week 9. I was wrong. Week 9.
This is kind of the annual time of the year where the Bears go on a primetime game and we get our asses kicked. It's just what happens. It's unfortunate, but all of us Bears fans, we expect it. We know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And for the second year in a row, it might be against the Packers. Unfortunate. We have this defense which is struggling, mostly due to injuries, but we really don't have anything put together. The offense, obviously Jay Cutler is out. That's not good. Fortunately, we did have the bye week, and we had time to kind of get McCown up and ready. Hopefully Forte can be a big factor in this game. But Ricky, as pessimistic as I might sound, the Bears can win this game. They can do it.
You think so?
I think they can.
Without Jay?
And here's why.
Can they do it without Jay?
Matt Forte has to be a huge factor in this game.
He has to be the focal point.
He's got to do so much, kind of like he did against the Redskins, to open up the passing game, make it simple for McCown. McCown's not going to be able to just throw those little bullet passes in there like Jay Cutler can do.
Well, I mean, the thing is, and McCown looked good when he came in against the Redskins.
He had some help.
Even though
he had help from Forte.
Even though you guys lost 45-41, just saying. But I feel like if the Bears are going to win, not only does Forte need to be the focal point, Marshall and Jeffrey, they both need to have a good game. Maybe even the one thing I would say that Joshy needs to do, throw a little more to Martellus. Give Martellus a few more receptions. He only had 1 in the game against the Redskins.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a huge factor. You got to include your tight end. He's a big guy, you know.
And he's a good tight end.
Yeah, he's a great target.
It's not like you got Kellen Davis out there anymore.
Exactly. We got a great target out there. A lot of big guys. Throw the ball to them, but that is the big thing. As we've said, Forte is going to lead the way so that way the passes can be easy.
And on the other side, I mean, the defense has just looked abysmal.
Yeah, defense is not good.
Abysmal. And I say that as a once fantasy owner of the Chicago Bears defense, and then I dropped them.
The fortunate thing is, and I know a lot of injuries and everything are going to be a big factor, but the Packers defense isn't very good either. We got to remember that. And then the fact that our defense in this rivalry game will probably step it up a little bit. Especially having the bye week. They've had time to rest. They've had time to kind of get everything put back together.
Do we know if Tillman's going to play? Is he going to?
He should play.
You think he will?
He should play. I think he will.
He's got to play. And the reason I say that is Jordy Nelson completely tore up my Minnesota Vikings last week. You had Boykins had a good game. And, I mean, everything the Packers are doing, they're doing the same thing that they always do. Just chuck it to any receiver on the field. But now they have a running back in Eddie Lacy.
Yeah, that's a big thing because that's one thing with the Packers. They were always kind of one-dimensional. And, yeah, it doesn't really matter with Aaron Rodgers. But they were a one-dimensional team, and at least you could rely on that. Now the defense has a lot of pressure.
94 yards on 29 carries last week against the Vikings in Minnesota and had a touchdown.
It's going to be an interesting one. It really will. This is the primetime matchup. This is one that we all saw on the schedule and thought this is going to be a good one. Unfortunately, it's not going to be as good.
This would be a loss. That's what I saw. I saw a primetime game, and I thought loss for the Bears.
Typically, you'd be right. We've been good so far, though.
But Trestman has kind of turned that around with the Steelers win on primetime. You got a Giants win in primetime.
We've been doing well so far. I really hope that stands up. Even if we do lose this game, I hope it's not a big loss.
See, and I think that the one thing holding the Bears, if Jay Cutler was playing this game, I might be with you, and I might say the Bears, because you're picking the Bears in this one, right?
I'm going to pick the Bears.
I'm picking the Packers, and I would pick the Bears if Jay Cutler was in there. But I did read, and I want to bring this up to you, being the Bears fan, I saw an article this week on BearGogglesOn.com, and they posed a question, and the title of this article said, "Is it fair to call Jay Cutler injury prone?" And they map through all the injuries. In 2010, he had a concussion, missed 1.5 games. Then he had a torn MCL in the AFC Championship game against these Green Bay Packers. Bears didn't make the Super Bowl. That was a season that the Bears could have made the Super Bowl. Then 2011, a broken thumb. That's the one injury that he had, and he missed the final 6 games of that season. In 2012, he had a concussion where he missed the second half of the Texans game and then the next game against the 49ers.
Yeah, it's a killer. The injuries have been a problem, and a lot of it, honestly, is on, like, a lot of the old injuries are on that poor offensive line, poor coaching, poor play calling as well. But when you are in that situation and you start to get hurt a lot more often, your body's getting older as well, you're getting weaker. You're going to get a little bit weaker, and unfortunately for Jay Cutler, he's pretty much become injury prone.
Well, and this is me kind of saying, because I'm the Viking fan in the room, so I feel like I can say this not being a Bears fan. This could be the thing to drive Jay Cutler out of town at the end of the year. I'm just throwing it out there.
It's possible in the sense as well that obviously Trestman doesn't have the same amount of time to work with Jay Cutler. Now he's working with somebody else a little bit, and he might be able to say, all right, give me somebody else. I can work with somebody else.
What's going to happen, this is what's going to happen from my point of view. Trestman's going to be able to work with McCown, and even if the Bears don't win, as long as they make it close, and Trestman proves to Emery that, hey, if I can work with Jay and get wins, if I can work with McCown, who took over for Jay Cutler, and get close to winning, think about what I could do with my guy. And that might be enough for Emery to say, fine, go get your guy. Go get the quarterback that you think is going to win us games, because I'm tired of losing.
Yeah, definitely a possibility. The injuries, I mean, that's something. If every season's going to kind of come down to, well, Jay Cutler got injured and that was the end of the season, you're not going to stay around for too much longer. It's very unfortunate. I'm a huge Jay Cutler fan, big supporter of his. It's unfortunate to be in this situation, but unfortunately, due to injuries, that's just where we are.
Well, and this is usually how the Bears season, this is when the Bears season goes down, is when Jay gets injured.
Exactly.
Jay, for the past, I just mapped out, from 2010 on, he's gotten injured, and then it's like Bear fans just go, well, better luck next year.
Yep, we know it's coming. We always expect it. It happens, and we just kind of shrug it off.
Like, I hate to rip on you guys and kind of ripping on my Cubs too, but you guys kind of turn into Cub fans. Once Jay gets injured, better luck next year. Got it. Yeah, it was nice while it lasted.
I mean, I think people are a little optimistic about this one. Obviously,
well,
sitting
you
at
still
4.
Have Trestman.
Yeah, and we're sitting at 4-3.
You don't have Lovie Smith going, Now, it's okay, guys. We played a good game. We're all going to go out for ice cream after the game. We played a good game. Everybody gets ice cream, but Rex, no sprinkles. I told you if we get a win, you get sprinkles.
That's his quarterback right there, Rex Grossman. But, yeah, I don't know. We're sitting right now 4-3, not that bad. Of course, it's a competitive division, which isn't going to work in our favor. So, I mean, if you can sneak out some of these wins where you had the backup quarterback in there, you might be able to stay in there.
And, I mean, another thing about Jay Cutler that made me kind of interesting about what Jay's saying is he's been saying, I'll be back after 2 weeks, which means I'm taking that as he'll be back after this game. Mark Trestman, on the other hand, has been saying every time he's asked about it, minimum of 4 weeks, which would mean he would come back for the St. Louis game, week 12.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that would be Jay Cutler missing out on some of those huge matchups. The Packers game being one of them, obviously.
Well, you get 2 out of the last 3 divisional games you have. I'm sorry, 2 out of the last 4. So he'd miss a game at Lambeau, a game at home against Detroit, and the last 2 divisional games he'd have is at Minnesota and then at home against Green Bay if he doesn't get injured again.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, these are games we would have loved to have him playing in. Unfortunately, he's not here. I side more on the side of Trestman on this one. I think the minimum of 4 weeks has been standing strong. That sounds about right for a groin injury. Jay Cutler, he wants to get out there fast. And, of course, the guy's going to feel confident in his own ability to get back out there. That's just the kind of guy Jay Cutler is. He's a tough guy. He wants to get right back out on the field. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see.
As a Bear fan, which injury hurts more for you, the Jay Cutler injury or the Lance Briggs injury?
Well, the Jay Cutler injury, because even with Lance Briggs in there, this defense has been horrible. So it doesn't make a difference to me.
See, I'm going on the other side. I think especially in this game against Green Bay, not having Lance Briggs be the leader of that linebacking core, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have his way on Monday night. He's going to have his complete way. He's going to throw for over 300 yards. Jordy Nelson's going to have 150 yards himself. Eddie Lacy, 100 rushing yards. If you have these guys in fantasy, good week to play them.
Well, I think if you're Mark Trestman right now, you kind of know that your defense is weak. You know that one thing you have to do is you have to control the clock. Control the game. Don't let them control the game.
How do you do that, Matt Forte?
Exactly. That's why he's got to be a huge part of the offense. Let him lead the way, control the clock. Don't let Aaron Rodgers have the ball for too long.
So you said Bears are going to win. Score. Give me a score. How much do they win by? Or an over-under?
I think this is going to be a fairly low-scoring game, to be honest. I could see both teams under 20.
Really?
Yes, I can. Even with the defenses being not so great in a divisional matchup with the primetime, I can see these two teams kind of struggling a little bit. Maybe some dumb mistakes.
So what score would you go with? 20-17? Would that be where you're going a little bit?
That could be good.
See, I kind of think, and I'm looking back to last week, if the Packers were able to put 44 points up on the Vikings in Minnesota, then they should at least be able to put 35 up on a Bears defense without Lance Briggs and maybe without Charles Tillman.
I just think the divisional rivalry environment is a little different compared to the Bears-Packers versus the Vikings.
I'm going to say 35-24.
All right.
Maybe 35-28. I'll give the Bears 28 at the most, but I'm going 35-24. Packer win.
Well, we'll see.
And kind of moving on from football, going to baseball a little bit, rounding out the MLB season. Boston Red Sox beat the Cardinals in the World Series. I myself was happy because I'm a Cub fan. I hate the Cardinals.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping the Cardinals were going to win. I would have just wanted to rub that in Ricky's face a little bit.
You just don't like that I hate the Cardinals because you like to mess with me.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, this was a fine one. I mean, Boston had to win one, I guess, eventually. They had to win something.
Mm-hmm.
They've been losing so many times, especially when they lost the Stanley Cup in 17 seconds.
Oh.
So they had to win something.
Oh, low blow, Mark.
But, I mean, the thing about St. Louis, I mean, they went down and they lost, losing at home is not going to be that beneficial for you. And then when you had to go over to Boston, for Game 5, and then you have Game 6 coming up as well. I just thought it was done.
The one thing, though, I will say is I was concerned about Game 6 for the Red Sox.
What's that?
Sox. Because if you think back in this series, and I'm going to look at what game exactly it was. It was, I want to say, Game 2, when Lackey and Waka faced off in these playoffs. And I mean, it was just one of those things where the Cardinals got to Lackey the first time. Why couldn't they do it again? And it was the Red Sox, maybe it was because they were at home, Game 6, got to Waka early and basically put the Cardinals in a hole that they couldn't get out of in that deciding Game 6.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was a pretty good matchup. It really was. I mean, you had two big high-scoring teams, which was a cool thing. But I think really Boston, for the most part, I mean, it started poorly. The series did not start well. And then you have pretty much Boston just taking it over at the end.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the one thing that I think saved the Red Sox in this series, David Ortiz, without a doubt, had probably the best postseason that you could have. As I'm looking at it right now, he hit in the World Series, I want to say over 600. And going into Game 6, I believe he was like 15 for 18 in the World Series. Had one of the best World Series that you could ever have. And I'm putting it him on the offensive side, Lester on the pitching side. Lester was completely domination mode in these playoffs. Domination Lester. There you go.
Well, if you don't have pitching in the playoffs, you're not going to have much.
See, and that's where the Cardinals fell into a little bit of a rough spot because their ace, Wainwright, wasn't very effective in this World Series.
You missed out on that, you're going to miss out on the wins. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. You saw that the Boston Red Sox were able to put up a lot of points, and the reason they're going to put up all these runs is because you can't get your pitchers out there to shut them down.
Yeah, because I'm looking here at Wainwright in the World Series against the Red Sox. Game 1, 8-1 victory for the Red Sox. Wainwright gave up 5 runs on 6 hits, only struck out 4, lasted 5 innings. Not a very good outing. And then in Game 5, a 3-1 Red Sox win. He goes 7, only gives up 8 hits, but 3 runs. He struck out 10, but I mean, when you got Lester going 7 2/3, only giving up 1 run, striking out 7, that's hard. That's hard, and he just gave up more runs than Lester.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to, especially, like I said, in the playoffs. You got to have that good, solid pitching because, I mean, they got to the World Series. You know they can score runs. You know they can put them up. So it really comes down to, can your guys shut them down? And for the Cardinals, the answer was no.
So, okay, last one thing I wanted to reach into our baseball bag, was now that the World Series is over, the offseason has officially started in the MLB. We'll start with the White Sox because you're a Sox guy. What is one move? The Sox have already signed a first baseman in Jose Abreu,
which is fantastic because we really need the Konerko answer right
What
now.
is the first thing the Sox need to do this offseason?
We need to get some people to put runs on the board. I mean, hitting is a huge problem for us. Even when we were good 2 seasons ago, we were good at pitching. We weren't good at putting runs on the board. So I want to see a guy who can go out there and hit the ball hard. Hit the ball hard, get it out. I want a big hitter on this team. That's what I want because Adam Dunn wasn't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to be our big hitter, and he's a horrible flop.
Do we see any trades this offseason from the White Sox?
I don't know that the White Sox really have all that much to give. I really don't think we have that much.
Do you think we're still in a fire sale for the White Sox?
I would say we probably are. We're probably, maybe not. If there's a step below fire sale, that's probably where we're at.
Step below fire sale.
Yeah, I think we're feeling a little bit better right now, especially with the season coming together. But I don't know. We need someone who can go out there, who can just one man do it himself, put the runs on the board, because we have not had that for a while.
True, and I mean, The White Sox, pitching-wise, do you feel strong with their pitching heading into the offseason, or do you need to make minor tweaks to the pitching as well?
Well, I mean, yeah, we could probably use some minor tweaks. But, I mean, we still have a lot of the guys who were doing well for us before. And I think, yeah, the pitching wasn't that great last season. But the thing I was more concerned about, really, was the hitting, which was non-existent. That's more of what I'm concerned about for the White Sox.
Well, I think in moving over from the south side to the north side, I think we can both agree with me being the Cub guy in this one. It's still pretty obvious for you being a Sox guy. The Cubs' biggest and first thing they need to do this offseason, who's the coach? Who's the manager? Who's your skipper?
Exactly. If you can't figure out who's leading this team, you got nothing.
Well, I mean, the thing I fall into as a Cub fan is, okay, you want to get the big-time free agents to come to Chicago. Free agents are not going to sign a deal if they don't know who the coach is. That's just plain and simple. You want to go after, like, the guy I've been hearing that the Cubs want to go after is Sin-Chu Chu. Chu's not going to want to come here if he doesn't know, well, who's going to be my manager? Is it going to be Brad Ausmus, who apparently interviewed for the job today after weeks ago it was reported he was out of the running for the manager? He interviewed. They interviewed Eric Wedge this week from the Seattle Mariners, and then you also have Rick Renteria, another Padre coach in the mix, and I feel like I like that the Cubs are taking it slow because I feel like in years past, the Quade signing, the Swayam signing, we kind of jumped the gun where it's like, we need somebody. And that's why we missed out on Sandberg, Rhino, not being our head coach and the fan favorite. I like that they're a little patient, but you got to sign someone sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it right on there, but for the free agents, if they can't talk to a coach before they come up here, they're not happy. You don't want to come into a situation and then find out, oh, that's my coach? This is the guy who's leading me? No, I'm good. Because then you're stuck. You're not getting out of this one. You need that. You need a direction for this team. The Cubs need a direction right now because obviously everyone's going to have different philosophies to how they're going to run the team. So what is it for the Cubs? Right now there's no philosophy, there's no direction.
And that's where a manager will come in, and it's all about even if you look at each of the different candidates that they're interviewing, to me right now, out of seeing some of the candidates that they're interviewing, right now I'm going to peg Brad Ausmus as he's going to be a player coach. I know he's going to be that manager that you describe as a player coach because he's not that far off from being a former player himself.
Do you think that's going to be a benefit for the Cubs?
I don't know because, I mean, you look at other teams like, I'm going to use the example, and this is just because today I watched the 30 for 30 on the Miami Hurricanes from the 70s to the 90s, their football squad. They basically had three coaches that had different philosophies and had success. And their last coach, Erickson, was a player coach, and I mean, that can be good. You can be successful with a player coach, but will that work from the Cubs? Will that work? It might work with how young this team is.
Yeah, I mean, the youth will probably have them react well to a younger coach, a coach that understands the players a little bit, and the fact that you don't have as many older players who are saying, you're not that far away from me. Well, why should I listen?
And at the same time, I don't know how this makes you feel because yes, he was a former Padre, but he was a Sox, not a Cub. But Jake Peavy, during the World Series, came out and said, I hope Renteria gets the job. I hope Rick gets the job.
Yeah, I mean, my thought is wrong team. Wrong team, Peavy. Remember, South Side, not North Side. He's a little confused. He's kind of forgotten where he's from.
Yeah, but do you think Jake Peavy would associate himself more with the Padres or the White Sox?
Right now, the Padres, because that's the team he's playing on.
Well, right now he's with the Red Sox. He just won a ring.
Oh, that's right, of course. But
he came from the Padres to the Sox.
Comparing those two, well, first of all, he relates himself to a Red Sox right now.
Yeah.
But especially with that ring.
Exactly. Dempster got a ring too, I believe.
Yeah. So I mean, but with that, I don't know. I guess White Sox. But I don't say that extremely confidently.
You don't say that confidently?
No. I mean, it's hard when you're a player that travels around a lot.
Yeah.
When you've played for a lot of teams, it's hard to pick one team that was my team.
Yeah, and I mean, getting back to the Cubs manager thing, right now as a Cub fan, and I don't know if you have an opinion as a Sox fan, but as a Cub fan, there is no one guy that I'm sitting here going, he's the guy. Go and sign him. Go and get him. I'm just sitting here going, what are you going to do, Theo? I don't know. As a fan, your guess is as good as mine, Theo.
It's a big moment for him. He's got a lot of things that need to be solved right now. There's a lot of issues for the Cubs. What is the solution to these problems? What are the players you're going to get? Who's going to be coaching? Who's going to be GM? Like, you have so many things that you need to fix right now. It's either going to work well and people are going to be happy, or people are going to be really pissed off at Theo.
Well, I don't know if you get pissed at Theo, but I mean, yeah, he's the guy doing the hiring, but I feel like Cub fans, Theo came in to Chicago with so much expectations. He ended a curse in Boston and is now expected to end a curse in Chicago. But the one thing I think about, and this goes back to, I want to say it was earlier this week, I watched 2 more 30 for 30s. I watched the 4 Days in October. That was the one about the 2004 Red Sox that won the World Series. They came back and beat the Yankees down 0-3 in the ALCS. It's about that ALCS where they came back. And then I watched Catching Hell, which made me cry. Made me cry because looking back at that 2003 NLCS, do you know what point was the point where, looking back, I knew the Cubs were going to lose that game 6?
When he threw his mitt down and had a little hissy fit?
No, before that. It was during the 7th inning stretch. Bernie Mac sang the Take Me Out to the Ball Game. And you know how at Wrigley they say the Cubbies?
Yeah.
He said, the champs. The champs. Right there. It's like,
jinxed it.
It's like, why'd you say that? The baseball gods are mad now.
And then they sent the Bartman ball. And it was forever.
Yeah, but it wasn't Bartman's fault because
anyone would have done the same thing.
Because it was even said in that Catching Hell documentary, there was a guy that was through the documentary being interviewed. He went to reach for the ball too. If the wind wasn't blowing from left field to right field, we're blaming that guy and not Steve Bartman.
Yeah, exactly. It was an easy guy to blame. And then I just love the hissy fit right after. The freak out, that's the reason why people...
The Moises Alou freak out?
Yeah, that's the reason why anybody knows who Bartman is. They wouldn't have cared if it was just like, all right, move on, let's go on. It's that little freak out and the just baby moment there, the hissy fit. Perfect.
Like, don't get me wrong. I believe in my heart that Moises Alou could have caught that ball. But at the same time, I look at that Steve Bartman and I go, okay, I'm a fan. At a baseball game, I've never caught a foul ball myself. I'm going to catch a foul ball.
Exactly, especially in this moment, to have that ball.
I mean, everybody is like, oh, well, I would have gotten out of the way because I love my Cubs. No, when you're in the moment.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, another thing they said in that documentary that was interesting, Bartman had those headphones on, right?
He's listening to the radio.
He was listening to the radio, but we're radio guys. We do radio for WXAV here in Chicago, and we know how many seconds is the radio station on delay.
You got a 10-second delay.
10-second delay. That broadcast was, I believe, a 6-second delay. They, in that documentary, matched it up, what he heard, and he didn't even know the ball, like what was happening, if Alou was going to catch it, until after he had already done what he did.
Yeah, and I still don't completely believe that Alou was going to catch that ball. I really don't. I think it was pretty... It's not like it was super far out or anything, but I don't know. I don't necessarily believe that he had it.
The chance of him catching it is, if we're putting it right in the middle, slightly leaning towards catching it, but not all the way, is what I'm saying.
I don't know, Ricky.
And I mean, it's this history that we're talking about right now. which puts this pressure on Theo to who does he pick for a manager, because that season, the season where the Cubs signed Dusty Baker, that was an easy choice who you take as a manager. There is nobody in this managerial pool where it's like, oh, he just went to the World Series with this team. We should get him.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't really have that. There's no easy decision here for Theo. He's got to make the right calls in this one. He's taking his time, and when you're going to take your time in this one, that better mean you're doing it right.
Gut decision. Who would you sign as the manager? Rick Renteria of the Padres, Eric Wedge of the Mariners, or Brad Ausmus, who is also an assistant with the Padres?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would go with Renteria on that one. I'm going to side with Peavy on this one. I mean, I can't say one way or the other if I think that is what's going to happen, because right now it is such a toss-up. I don't know. It's a tough one. Do you have one that you're leaning towards?
Me, no. And the reason why is Brad Ausmus, not far removed from a former player, so that scares me. Eric Wedge has been with the Mariners, haven't been good, scares me. And how good have the Padres been? There's only one thing that I like about Renteria. Who did we get from the Padres? Who did Theo trade for from the Padres? Anthony Rizzo. There's a connection there. One of our best young players on the team.
That's one of your stars of the future, too.
Yes.
So make that guy happy. Make that kid happy. And that's going to help out. That's going to help out in the locker room for sure.
And just when I'm just looking right now on ESPNChicago.com, if things couldn't get worse for the Cubs, now you can say former first base coach and outfield coach Dave McKay today, Friday, accepted the same position with the Arizona Diamondbacks. So he's not going to be with the Cubs anymore. So now you got to find a new first base coach.
That's one more thing you got to do, Theo. I'll just add it to the list.
Yep, just add that thing to the list. I don't know. If I had to make a decision like right now, I'd lean towards Renteria only because of that connection with Anthony Rizzo. But really, I'm sitting here going, Theo, make your decision, because I don't know as a fan who you should take. I really don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough choice. In one way, that's why we're not doing his job.
No, I would not want to be in his situation right now.
No, definitely not. It's a tough one, and like I said, a lot of blame can come his way if things don't start working right.
And I mean, one other thing, last thing I want to say about the Cubs is there was a report that was put out earlier this week. Apparently, the Cubs are pursuing, after the Yu Darvish pursue that didn't go well because he went to the Texas Rangers. I almost said the Texans. Basically, they are from Texas, so why wouldn't they be? But the Cubs are seeking Japanese right-handed pitcher, and I'm going to screw this name up, so pardon me, Masahiro Tanaka? 24-year-old pitcher from Japan?
Works for me. Yeah, I mean, I guess you got to get somebody. I don't know very much about him. I mean, I don't know how good he is, how he compares.
Here's the scouting report on Tanaka per BaseballAmerica.com. You ready for this?
Yes.
At 6'2", 205 pounds, Tanaka throws a low 90s fastball that can touch 95 miles per hour. Even though he can reach the mid-90s, his fastball is the pitch that gives some scouts pause because it comes in on a flat plane, making it more hittable than the velocity might suggest. Tanaka has two secondary pitches that have earned grades of 60 or better on a 20 to 80 scouting scale, including a 70 splitter with a late downward action to keep hitters off his fastball. His low to mid 80s slider is another plus weapon, while he'll mix in a curveball as well.
I don't know. The one thing, I mean, I guess he gets a little help with the kind of changing it up and keeping batters off guard, but that fastball, that sounds hittable. That sounds really hittable and drivable.
And if the Red Sox proved anything in the World Series, when you can sit on fastball, you'll kill a team.
Yeah. That's something to be nervous about, to be honest, because that sounds like something where batters are going to be able to sit back, wait, smash it.
And I mean, take this with a grain of salt, but in his last outing, he led the Ratukin Eagles to a 2-1 victory over the Yomiuri Giants in Game 2 of the Japan World Series. This was on Sunday, or last Sunday. He went 24-0 in the regular season and has not lost a game since August 19th, 2012. Gave up 3 hits while walking 3 and striking out 12 in that 127-pitch outing.
Yeah, those are some impressive numbers.
But I say take it with a grain of salt because
it's not the MLB.
It's not the MLB. That's Japan. And I mean, Ichiro was a hitter and came from Japan, and look at how well he's done.
Yeah, but that's just one player.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. Yeah. I would say that take that with a grain of salt because that's not against MLB talent.
Exactly. And things are obviously going to change if and when he is here.
I mean, Darvish did well, but he didn't do as well as he did when he was over in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to do as well as you're doing there because the talent's just so much better.
And don't they have different dimensions of their field too?
They probably do. I mean, whenever whenever you're playing the game in a different country, it's usually something that's going to change.
But I mean, that's something where I'm hoping that the Cubs are able to get him because, I mean, if he can do half of what you Darvish did for the Rangers, it's a plus for the Cubs.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as long as guys aren't driving all those fastballs out of the park.
Yeah, that does scare me because, like I said, the Red Sox proved if you can hit a fastball, you can win a World Series.
Exactly.
Especially if his name's Big Papi.
Now, Ricky, we did have one sport end. With baseball, the World Series just came to a close. Now we have another sport just starting up. And that's the NBA.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Time for some basketball again.
Yes.
And
give it to me, Mark.
Didn't start out as well as some people would hope in Chicago.
I'll take a 1-1 start.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were kind of confident in us being able to beat the Heat. I was not one of those people. And I'm not surprised that it took Derek a little bit to get back. It took him a game, basically.
Well, I mean, okay, you're going up against the Miami Heat. And let's put it this way. It's kind of hard to beat a team on banner-raising night, as I'm going to say. It's hard to beat a team when they're remembering their championship. And kind of when the Heat... I will say, though, I fucking hated those uniforms. Did you really need gold lettering?
Yeah.
Come on, don't rub it in our faces that you won 2 back-to-back titles.
Come on, it was a little much, but I mean, I guess I don't blame him for it.
Yeah, I'm going to compare it to the Blackhawks. Look at what the Blackhawks did on banner raising night. 6-4 win over the Capitals. I mean, when a team is playing with that, you know what? We are the defending champs. There are, of course, they're going to come out with a little bit more, and I'm going to use the word swagger.
There you go, hashtag swag.
Hashtag swag, and that's what the Heat came out with. And I mean, you had Wade, Chalmers, Bosch, and LeBron all double-digit points. They started. Then, I'm sorry, you have Battier, Cole, and Ray Allen with double digits off the bench. That's hard to beat. When you go 55% from 3, that's hard to beat.
Yeah, you're not gonna have an easy time with that one, obviously. Unfortunately, for the Heat, of course, this then led to them not having any energy left for their next couple of games. So, yeah, I mean... I think it's interesting. It's nice to see the Heat kind of down a little bit as a Chicago fan. But with this being said, what's going on with these 3-point shooters?
I was just going to say that because if you've noticed, me and Mark did a little NBA draft reaction video, and we took a little heat from the viewers out there. It was an actual video. It wasn't a podcast. We took a little heat for knocking Tony Snell. And I know it's only game 1. But where are you, Snell? You played 7 minutes. You went 0 of 3, 0 of 2 from beyond the arc. You have a plus-minus of -10. That means you gave up 10 points while you were on the court. What's going on? What's going on, man?
And this is one of those things where, I mean, you got rumors swirling around about the Bulls being interested in Jimmer Fredette, another 3-point specialist.
And I'm going to throw this out. Snell didn't even play against the Knicks.
Yeah, of course, because Thibodeau doesn't like playing rookies. He doesn't want him to play.
But Teague didn't play either.
Because
Teague's not a
Teague's
rookie.
never going to play. Teague will never play.
Didn't we just pick up an option on Teague and Butler?
We could have. I think we need to get Teague off the team because the kid's got some talent. He can do some pretty good things somewhere. It's just not going to be Chicago. But,
You don't think Teague's going to have a future here?
No, we're never going to give him a shot. When will he ever get the chance? Unless Kirk Heinrich gets hurt again, then maybe. But, I just think right now for the Bulls, the strategy, we need some more time. We did have that one fantastic win. All on Derrick Rose at that one.
You're talking about the New York win.
Yeah, exactly. Fantastic. That was great. But, I don't think let's have the three-point shooters. Let's let them go at it, clear some room. Derrick Rose can do his little thing out there, does whatever he wants. It's not working so well right now.
And I did do my research. The Bulls, it actually happened on Wednesday. The Bulls picked up team options for the 2014-2015 season on both Jimmy Butler and Marquise Teague.
But I just don't get it with Teague because we're not using them. It's beginning of the season. We'll see what happens as time progresses. But we're not giving the kid a chance. He's got some talent, and he's never going to show it. He's never going to show it on this team. Might as well trade him and get something.
He'll show it after Kurt's gone. After Captain Kirk leaves, he's going to be the guy to fill in for Captain Kirk.
I guess so. I guess we're just going to hold on to him and wait.
And I'm hoping Thibodeau is actually letting him learn.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I would hate not having him play, and then it's like, oh, well, that was a waste.
Yeah,
and
he looks like he's a rookie still.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be a huge issue.
But the thing I have with the Bulls is, and this is Bulls fans in general, I think we put a little bit too much pressure on Derrick Rose. We shouldn't have expected him game one. I know he had a great preseason, but we shouldn't have expected him to pick up MVP status and MVP play right from the word go. It's going to take him a while.
Yeah, he's got some time. Definitely, it's a long season. Got plenty of time to kind of get it back going again. And I think early on we're going to see some lesser Derrick Rose play, and then we're going to see flashes of him being great again. I think it's just going to be a mix until about halfway through the season when we're really going to see great, consistent play out of Derrick Rose, of just consistent greatness that we expect.
And I know you were saying that you're happy. We're all happy about the win over the Knicks, but at the same time, I'm sitting here going, it was only by 1 point. We only won by one point.
Yeah, and we are a defensive team, so you want to see some low-scoring games, and you want to see us pulling ahead with guys, like obviously Derrick Rose, and our three-point specialists that we have, the many of them. You want to see us pull ahead in a low-scoring game. Unfortunately, that wasn't quite what happened.
Yeah, and the one thing I'm looking at is, just based off the stats, I would say I would like to see more consistency out of Jimmy Butler a little bit because, he had a great game against Miami where he led the team with 20 points, had a plus-minus at 10, went 6 of 7 from the foul line, had 5 steals on defense. Yeah, he had 4 fouls, but whatever. That's going to happen sometimes. But then against the Knicks, plays 41 minutes, the most on the team, 11 points, a -4, but he did have 10 rebounds, finished with a double-double, but only went 3 of 11 from the field.
He's kind of learning shooting guard on the job, I guess, a little bit. He did a bit of it last season, obviously. And he's learning a little bit more now. I think inconsistency in that case is a little bit expected. It's unfortunate. You don't want to see it, but I guess you can't really be surprised by it. It's kind of a shame because this team, obviously, we're probably going to have a little bit of a lower seed, I think, expected for the playoffs. You want to see us kind of get things figured out and working as soon as possible. We don't want to wait around for everybody to buy in and understand what we're doing now.
We play the Sixers today. What do you think is going to happen? We play the Sixers, the team that Derrick Rose got injured against. And I repeat that. Derrick Rose got injured against these Sixers, but it's in Philly.
I'm really hoping that there'll be a little bit of a spark through that for Derrick Rose and that he can kind of have a big game. That's what I want to see. I want to see a big game out of Derrick Rose. and I want to see more consistency out of the rest of the team.
I'm a little concerned for today's game against these Philadelphia 76ers because they started the season like the Bulls against Miami, just a day. Was it a day after? Day after Miami played the Bulls, and they beat the Heat 114-110. Yeah, it was at home. It wasn't in Miami, but they beat the Heat. Bulls haven't.
Yeah.
And the 76ers have scored over 100 points in both of their 2 games. They're 2-0.
Which is really impressive. So, I mean, defense definitely has to step up. That's what we need. We need a consistent play out of our defense. And I think we can get that. I do. I think that's something that the Bulls kind of pride themselves on, and I think we can bring them their first game under 100 points.
I would hope so, because not only is Kwame Brown on this team, he didn't play, don't worry. Kwame Brown is on this team, but looking at the Miami Heat box score from that game, the Sixers had 3 players over 20 points. Evan Turner, 26 points. Spencer Hawes, 24 points. And then rookie Michael Carter-Williams, 22 points.
You can't do that. You just can't. That's awful. You can't give up that many guys.
And that was
up in
the Heat
20s.
that gave that up. The Heat.
I don't expect the Bulls to be in a similar situation as the Heat in that one.
Because we're a better defensive team.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, yeah, people like to talk about the Heat's defense as well. But the Heat are just inconsistent. I mean, as much as they win and as much as they can go on big streaks, sometimes you just don't see it. Like, especially defensively. You're not going to see those great defensive matchups that, Chicago can give out of Miami all the time.
Well, I'm going to pose a question, and I asked this because I saw this on a website called PippinAin'tEasy.com. They posed a question in this article, and the headline reads, should the Chicago Bulls play small more often? So go with a smaller lineup more often.
I would say no, because of the fact that you don't want to get guys hurt. That's pretty much what it is. I mean, you got all these guys on the team. You got backups. You might as well start using them and kind of provide some more life for our players. This team has injury issues. So don't make it easier for guys to get run down and hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is for me.
I feel like maybe against the Philadelphia 76ers, we might be able to go smaller. But at the same time, I feel like if we go small against Philadelphia, Spencer Hawes is going to have a day. You got to have a guy like Noah or Boozer, or maybe not really Dunleavy, because I think of him as a defensive liability, but I'm going to say a Boozer, or if a Taj Gibson can play good defense, we need a big guy to size up on him, because Hawes is a guy who can take it to the hoop or shoot from mid-range.
Yeah, definitely.
He did that when Derrick Rose went down.
Yeah, it's all about matchups in this case. You can't go small. You got to utilize everything that you have. And as a team, you try and think of every possibility. You want to have someone who can match up with any kind of player, and that's something you're going to need a full lineup to do. You can't go small in this one.
So, you think the Bulls are going to win? How many points do they win by against the Sixers?
I'm going to put it in the 90s.
In the 90s?
I am.
Do they keep the 76ers below 100 then?
Yeah, they will.
Well below 100?
No, I wouldn't say so well. Sixers, I'll put them in the 80s.
Okay.
And then it's going to be Derrick Rose having a huge night.
Okay, so before we go to our NFL picks, like we do every week, I got to pose a fantasy football question out there for Mark, both you and the listeners out there. You can comment on this podcast down below. Tell me what you think, because I'm in a little bit of a bind this week. This one league I'm in, I'm 1-5. I am terrible. And this week, I'm making a comeback, and I changed my team name to Don't Call It a Comeback. Because Mama said I'm going to knock you out. Don't call it a comeback. And in this league, the rosters are a little different. We have one QB, one running back, a wide receiver spot, a wide receiver / tight end spot, a flex, a defense, and a kicker. I have a wide receiver problem this week, and I need your advice and the listeners' advice. Who do I start? Eddie Royal, at Washington. DeAndre Hopkins against Indianapolis.
I don't trust anything about the Texans offense. You're not going to get me supporting the Texans offense unless... No, you don't have me supporting the Texans offense at all.
Or do I hope that Roddy White plays and is effective?
I don't put it on just hoping he plays. That's me.
Those are my 3 wide receivers that I have on my team. The other one... No, those are my 3 wide receivers on my team. Is Eddie Royal, DeAndre Hopkins, and Roddy White.
Exactly. Don't trust the Texans offense. I don't trust that White's going to be coming back. Got to go with Royal. He's your only option.
The other, and this is for any other options that you guys are thinking that, oh, Ricky, check the waiver wire. The top available wide receivers for this week that I could pick up, Kenbrell Tompkins, Julian Edelman, both of the Patriots, Austin Pettis, Kendall Wright, Brandon LaFell. Those are the top few.
Nothing to be excited about.
Nothing to be excited about at all. I'm worried for my season this year.
You should be. Season's done. Come on, Ricky. Pull it together.
I was hoping that Percy Harvin would be back this week. He's on my IR. I was hoping that he'd be back, but it looks like he's going to miss another week.
Yeah, he's taking his time. That's for sure.
And I don't like to see that because, I mean, I'm worried about this team. I am seriously worried. But, guys, I need your help. I need your fantasy advice. Who do I start? Eddie Royal or DeAndre Hopkins? Tell me in the comments down below. It would be much appreciated. But, Mark, time to get to our weekly NFL picks. We made our first one earlier in the show. The Chicago Bears against the Packers. You said the Bears. I said the Packers for the Monday night game. But there's other games that are going to go on Sunday. First one, 1-6 Vikings at 4-4 Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys got this one. It's going to be tough for the Vikings to win more games. So, I got to take the Cowboys.
See, I'm looking at this game, and I'm saying this is the Dez Bryant redemption game. Where he's going to say, yeah, you know what, you ESPN, you overblew my little bit of a rant that I had on the sidelines against the Lions. We're going to come out here and demolish the Vikings. This is a Vikings fan saying this. Vikings don't have a chance in this game. Christian Ponder's our quarterback for this game. He's going to be starting, so I'm not very optimistic.
And you shouldn't be.
I fear for this team. We're not going to win, but moving on. 8-0 Chiefs against the Bills. If the Chiefs win this game, they will be undefeated going into their now primetime matchup against the Denver Broncos.
I wouldn't be surprised to see it. The Chiefs don't have much to stop the Bills don't have much to stop the Chiefs with.
And E.J. Manuel's not back yet.
Exactly. It's unfortunate that rookie's spending so much time on the sidelines. But yeah, I got to take the Chiefs on this one, continuing the undefeated season.
And I'm going to ask you this because, I mean, like I said, if they win this game, they have a bye next week, and then week 11 they have that game at Mile High. Broncos are on a bye this week. They play the Chargers next week in San Diego. As we're getting closer, odds that both of these teams will the Broncos still be one loss going into that game, or they will be two? Because I forgot they lost to the Colts.
Yeah, I don't see them being 2 losses on this one. I really don't. I think they'll be just fine, especially after the bye.
Is that game? I know that the Chiefs and the Broncos played twice, but is this first game going to basically be for the division?
I mean, early? There are 2 games, though. 2 games of it, so we'll see. But I think that the Chiefs are going to drop back now that they're actually playing real teams.
Yeah, but you got to look. Then this is the stretch of the Broncos. I know the Broncos are on a bye, but I want to say this. They play the Chiefs week 11, the Patriots at Foxborough on Sunday night. 2 straight Sunday night games now for the Broncos. And then they got the Chiefs again.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that the Broncos are a better team than the Chiefs. And once it comes to playing...
I'm not saying that the Chiefs are going to win. I'm just saying that with me, I feel like you got to win that first Sunday night game because there's a chance. I'm giving Tom Brady a chance that he can beat Peyton Manning. And if you lose that Chief game, you lose that New England game. Even if the Chiefs lose in Week 12, you're still 2 games behind them now.
It's possible. We'll have to wait and see.
I hate that. Sometimes I hate waiting and see, but both of us are picking the Chiefs against the Bills.
Yep.
Titans, Rams in St. Louis.
I'm
Louis
sorry.
They're not.
St. Louis fans, you're just going to continue to be upset.
This is going to be a crappy week for St. Louis fans. You lose in the World Series. The Rams aren't that much better.
But let's be real. I mean, they've given up on the Rams already. They gave up on that team. The Rams are not going to win.
Good thing college basketball is coming back. St. Louis Billikens. You got them St. Louis Billikens to look forward to.
Got to have something, kind of, I guess.
But I don't know about you. I'm picking the Titans in this one. Jake Locker are going to have a good game, a big game.
Definitely going with the Titans.
Saints, Jets, who you got?
For this one, I'm going to go with Drew Brees and the Saints. This one has the potential to be a little bit of an upset, but I don't think Rex Ryan's defense is going to be enough to stop Drew Brees.
I really don't like the Jets. I got to go with the Saints. I feel like the Saints could be. I know I was looking back at my preseason playoff predictions. I was a little bit off on some of them, saying that Atlanta would be the number 1 seed in.
Now they're going to be lucky to be 8-8.
But I mean, I think that there's a good chance Saints Seahawks in the NFC Championship game. That's why I'm picking the Saints to win this game because they're too big, too fast, too strong, too good. They're Derrick Rose in it.
They're a great team. They really are a great team. Nice bounce back.
Chargers, Redskins. Are the Redskins going to bounce back, or are they going to stay this 2-5 mess that they have been this season? Are they going to change their name? Are they going to change their name? Doesn't matter. They suck.
Yeah, I'm going to believe that they can bounce back right now. I really think they can, especially against the Chargers. Nice offense, but we just saw them put up 45 points a couple weeks ago.
We're from Chicago, so I'm going to quote a great man once said, "Not a chance, not a chance." The Chargers win this one. Chargers going to win big in this one.
I'm going to disagree on that one. I'm taking the Redskins.
Extra brownie point if you can guess who I was quoting in that "not a chance, not a chance."
Leave your comments down below.
No, I was asking you, Mark.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you don't know?
What you're talking about.
Patrick Kane. You don't remember that when we won the first cup when Pierre was like, "Don't do too much partying," Patrick, and goes, "Not a chance, not a chance." That's what's going to be like this week for the Redskins.
It's not going to be a party. It's not going to be a party for them then, is what you want to say.
Falcons, Panthers. I'm going to take your line. Hashtag claw up.
That's right.
Falcons go 2-6.
Well, that line is not for the Falcons. That line's for the Panthers.
Yeah, I know, but the Panthers are going to win, so the Falcons are going to go 2-6.
Yeah, Panthers claw up.
Claw up.
All right, guys, claw up.
I said that right?
Yeah, I think you did.
Claw up.
But yeah, I'm taking the Panthers on this one. I think they're really going to claw up and get it done.
You know who I feel sorry for? Tony Gonzalez. You come back thinking that, I'm going to get one more chance at a Super Bowl. Roddy White's been dismal this year. Julio Jones goes down with an injury. Steven Jackson goes down. Your leading rusher is, and I'm going to quote Pete from the league, "Who got your quiz? I got your quiz."
I think right now, I don't know. The thing with the Falcons are a great team.
Mike Smith needs to get fired.
Well, they were a great team who kept going, kept losing. They finally win their first game in the playoffs.
And they lose.
And then they lose. And then I guess the logic was, well, next time I guess we'll win 2. And I mean, I think you really should have gone out on top.
Is this the first time they're not going to the playoffs since Matt Ryan became the quarterback?
Yeah, I think that sounds right. I do. I just think you should have went out on top. I mean,
there's only one good thing about a bad season. You know what that is? There's 2 good things.
A nice draft pick?
Besides that, you get an easier schedule.
Yeah, that's true. But by then, is Tony Gonzalez really going to come back for just one more?
No, he's done.
Exactly.
He is just completely done. I mean, there is no way that he's coming back after the season. And Panthers, they're going to turn it around. They're going to go 5-3, I think, after this week.
They're doing well. They're really clawing it up.
Big division game in Carolina, but I mean, the Eagles. There's one team that hasn't been doing well this week. Vic goes down. Foles gets the job. Foles goes down. Vic gets the job. Vic goes down. Who do you play at quarterback?
Send Barkley in.
Is he getting the start this week?
I don't know who else is going to get the start.
Is Foles still injured?
I believe so. This one I don't think is...
Who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter that much. I think Terrell Pryor is going to have a fun time running around because he's healthy. You know, the Raiders' mobile quarterback is doing fine.
Nick Foles is going to start.
Nick Foles, is he going to get hurt again? I mean, seriously, the kid's having trouble out there.
The football gods are like, come on, give Matt Barkley a chance.
Apparently, they want him to throw 3 interceptions in a quarter again.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
Yeah, I'm taking Terrell Pryor and the Raiders on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna actually. I think this is the second week I've taken Dave's Raiders with Terrell Pryor because he's a big boy.
He loves them.
He's a big boy Terrell Pryor fan. But I mean, moving on, Buccaneers. Anyway, they can not just playing Seattle, but they got to play Seattle in Seattle, where Seattle's basically unbeatable. Like, if Seattle gets number 1 seed in the NFC, there's a good chance they're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't believe there's any way that the Buccaneers are really going to win games this year. So I can't pick them.
Is Shiano going to be out of a job after this year?
He should be out of a job right now.
Has he only been there 2 or 3 years?
He should be gone right now, Ricky. He's doing horrible things to that team to where literally they've had reports that coaches on that team are yelling at players for helping other players get up off the ground. Horrible. Horrible. The entire coaching staff needs to be gutted and removed. They need to go in a completely different direction. I know Shiano's trying to make them into Shiano men, which we all fear the Shiano man, but it's not working out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks in this one. I think Russell Wilson, beast mode, and hey, guess what? You can't touch this. I'm gonna taunt you all the way to the end zone. Go, Golden Tate.
Golden Tate was not even that good. Not even that good to be taunting.
Like the great one of our
great touchception.
One of our personal friends, Tim Carroll, said he's a Notre Dame guy, so he is above God.
Yeah, exactly.
He said he's a man among men. So I mean, he's an All-American because he went to Notre Dame, which is a crock of shit. I hate Notre Dame.
There you go.
I can't stand them.
Yeah,
but,
neither one of us are Notre Dame fans.
We're both picking the Seahawks. Ravens, Browns, and I want to pick the Browns, but I got to pick the Ravens.
I want the Browns to win because I think it's kind of funny. The fact that, this division is not good.
It's terrible, except for the Bengals. They're 6-3.
They picked it up. They started pretty badly.
They're 6-3. This Bengal team that we were like, oh, looks like everyone was wrong about you, and they said, hey, middle finger, guys.
Yeah, exactly. They needed some time. In this one, I'm going to take the Ravens, though. Low-scoring game, but I'll take the Ravens.
Yeah, I got to take the Ravens, too. I'm actually going to look at the playoff standings to see the Browns are actually, if I can find them, where's Cleveland?
Don't worry, they're gone. They're out.
Yeah, they're pretty much out of it because San Diego is 4-3, and they're the last team in, and you got Denver at 7-1, and they are technically a wild card team.
They are. It's incredible when you got something like that, and then compare that to the NFC East, where the Giants are only 2 games back. They can win the division still.
That is scary.
And they are awful.
Well, Steelers-Patriots, our last day game of this weekend.
I'm going to take Tom Brady beating the Steelers. I don't believe in the Steelers right now. I do, however, believe in Tom Brady.
I can't stand the Steelers. I think that the Steelers this year are just terrible. Patriots 4-0 at home. Tom Brady's got to turn it up at some point. Why not now?
It would sure help my fantasy team.
And then our last game of the weekend, because we already talked about the Monday night game, the Colts, the 5-2 Colts, going up against the 2-5 Houston Texans in a great AFC South matchup.
Yeah, a wonderful AFC South matchup with a team that is falling apart. I don't believe in the Texans. I mean, that defense is fine, but that offense, what the hell is going on?
Do I play DeAndre Hopkins?
No, you don't.
Tell me, people, what do I do?
So for this one, the Colts are going to keep on rolling.
Yeah, I think this is the one team that I was kind of surprised with at the trade deadline that they didn't do anything. Because Reggie Wayne's out for the season. That means Hayward Bay is your number 1 receiver now.
But he was the only good thing out of Oakland a couple seasons ago.
Yeah, but he's no Reggie Wayne.
Well, yeah, how many receivers are Reggie Wayne?
Calvin Johnson. He's better.
You're not going to get Calvin Johnson.
Des Bryant. He's better.
You're not going to get Des
Well,
Bryant.
I'm just saying. You asked me to
I'm saying
guys.
they're not going to be able to trade and get anybody who's going to be at the level of
They could have tried
Reggie
to get
Wayne.
something, but I just mean Andrew Luck is going to find people who perform. And I mean, now that Reggie Wayne is done for the season, Trent Richardson, where you at, bro? Where you at?
There might be some more expected on
I mean,
him.
they still got T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton's good. So you got T.Y. Hilton, a little bit of Colby Fleener, Hayward Bay. They shouldn't be that bad. But, I mean, no Reggie Wayne means no Reggie Wayne.
I think they'll be just fine. I really do. I think they'll be just fine. Andrew Luck's a good quarterback, very talented.
All Andrew Luck knows how to do is win unless it's on Monday night.
Apparently.
Because he's only played one Monday night game.
Apparently.
But that's going to do it for the Onside Kick this week. Mark, do you have anything that you would like to tell the listeners before I wrap it all up?
Us Chicago fans, I mean, just hold tight, guys. It might be a rough one. Just be careful.
You're talking them away from the ledge.
Just be careful, guys. It's going to be okay. I promise.
Are Chicago fans close to the ledge? And you're talking about the Bear fans.
I think some of them are very, very close, and other ones are a little further back.
Well, that's going to do it for the Onside Kick. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/the Onside Kick. Also, send us a few tweets on the Twitter page at Onside Kick Real. We love talking to you about the sports we bring to you each and every day of the week. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below, talk to us, get the conversation flowing, and as always, have a good day, everybody.